bank, I heard, have such partnerships. So maybe DNB could be a partner to one of the platforms here and really be the market leader in the Nordic countries. But now I'm very happy and proud to invite Irene Todea, who is the marketing manager for the European Crowdfunding Network.
Thanks.
And after her discussion, we will break for a little coffee break.
Thank you, Rotem. Hi, everyone. I'm pleased to be here. My name is Irene, and I'm the marketing manager of the European Crowdfunding Network. So I will tell you a little bit about the ECN, as we call it, and what we do, how we do it. And I will make sure to leave time for questions, because I think that's the best way you can squeeze out my knowledge. So I will start playing the bingo a little bit. I will give you some numbers that gives you an idea of... wait a second, where do I click for moving the slides? Thanks. Giving you some numbers on ECN and explain you a little bit about us. So 2013, how many of you did know back in 2013 what crowdfunding was? Raise your hands. Okay. Good, more than I thought, because back then, as you saw also, the statistics was a very, very, very small market. Actually, we started talking about the European Crowdfunding Network in 2012, where there were only a few platforms. Not many people knew the concept. Actually, we are at the bank, so maybe it's a more educated audience than normally. And it was really pretty unknown market, and we had to basically, we wanted to create a group that could make aware policymakers and the general public about crowdfunding and its potential. So a group of platforms got together and created the European Crowdfunding Network, which today counts 16 members. I was the second one joining. And 8 board members. We are non-profit organizations based in Brussels, and we are led by crowdfunding platforms that are elected bi-yearly. Among them, we have Investor as in our board of directors. And we count 61 members around Europe. They're not just crowdfunding platforms, but they're also all kind of companies and individuals that have an interest in the crowdfunding sector, and they want to join a network of professionals in the crowdfunding field. They are from 16 countries. We have no one from Norway, so I call for members here. And they're also outside of Europe, like Turkey and Switzerland. And they're structured in 3 membership levels. We have full members that are crowdfunding platforms. We have premium associate members, that is anyone with an interest in crowdfunding. And then we have just launched a 3rd category, which is supporting associate member for all those crowdfunding platforms that have an European ambition but are not ready yet to become full members. So this is what we do. I call it the pillars of activity, and basically the reasons why we exist. I would say the first one is education and awareness raising. We were born when the market was still very small. You saw the data of growth trends of crowdfunding in Europe, and they're pretty steep. So the market pretty much boomed in in only 3 years, I would say. So we started talking about crowdfunding and writing and making publications, and that was the first step to make aware policymakers, but also the general public. We were going to events, as we do today, talking and interacting with the public. And we run 2 annual conferences, as well as we launched an e-learning center that you can find on our website, where you see me, myself, talking about crowdfunding, so I recommend to watch it. And we do other kind of learning activities. The second main activity is lobbying. Of course, this is the main reason, basically, why many platforms are interested to join the ECN, because they truly believe the potential of the market lays into reaching the pan-European dimension. Of course, this is not a European market yet. You saw that before. We have different regulations in different states, which especially for securities crowdfunding are a problem. So you are an investor based in Norway. Maybe you can't invest in Germany in a French project. It's very difficult. So we are keeping this discourse on with the EU institutions since 2013, and we engage in different kinds of policy activities. Like we just responded to the public consultations on the Prospectus Directive, which was an initiative under the Capital Markets Union. And as I'm talking here, our board of directors is currently meeting with the Commission, the European Commission, to discuss this Prospectus Directive. And we also work hand by hand with the entire ecosystem of early stage finance. So we do joint statements. We have done joint statements with the European Business Angels, the Association of Stock Markets, and also venture capitals, and so on. Our third, I would say, pillar of activity is the research. Of course, the market needs a lot of research and data to make it more transparent. Data are very difficult to gather, although there are some institutions like Cambridge University that are doing a great job to kind of bridge the gap, but data are also sometimes not very reliable in this kind of market. So we do our best. We mainly do research on, we've done a couple of publications on regulations, which probably now are outdated because the market moves incredibly fast, and also regulations are kind of changing every year because the public authorities are keeping experimenting, and some others just from one day to another basically adopt a new regulation. And on research on different crowdfunding applications in different sectors. We also do a lot of research with the European Commission, which is suddenly very curious about crowdfunding, its potential and how it can support it. So we engage in a few projects. One of them, and I think we have a couple on renewable energies. The European Commission thinks crowdfunding is an excellent way to vehicle private investments into the green energy sector. We have one on crowdfunding for the cultural and creative sectors, so how crowdfunding can help kickstart the cultural economy. We have another one on research and innovation, where we basically conduct a study on crowdfunding as an enabler for research and innovative projects. The last pillar of activity, it's, I would say, the main one. It's to build sustainable growth in the market. The first concrete effort to ensure best practices, transparency and fairness was our code of conduct. The ECN code of conduct is basically a set of ethical guidelines for our members, and they aim at fostering a said transparency and fairness. And this is still work in progress. We're still working to understand what kind of KPIs to measure in order to compare the different platforms and be able to assess how well they behave and perform. And this is, of course, a very difficult task in such a various and early stage market. So this is basically our mission that kind of summarizes what I just said. So the European Crowdfunding Network aims at growing a transparent, self-regulated and sustainable crowdfunding industry. And I'm really open to questions on crowdfunding in Europe or the ECN itself.
Thank you. We heard in the previous presentation that there are quite a few different platforms around Europe, 65 only in the UK.
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit what makes each platform unique? How do they differentiate between each other?
Yes.
And what sort of makes a growth potential for a possible new entrant?
Yes, well, it's not an easy question. You also tried to ask to her before. I would say what you look at when you compare platforms is, first of all, the models they offer of crowdfunding. There are different models. There is equity crowdfunding, reward crowdfunding, peer-to-peer lending, peer-to-business lending, donation crowdfunding. So this is the first thing you look at. Then you can look at the costs This is very important. They offer different type of costs on like success fees, or they take a fee up front in some cases, or transaction fees. You can look at the business model, like I think investor can tell you about later if you have in a third-party entity, how it's called, appointed representative for holding shares, if it's equity crowdfunding. You can look again at what, if they have a specific focus on a specific market or segment. And I would say also the regional focus can be something that you can look at. Of course, the market is kind of, I would say, is kind of growing very fast, and it's kind of crowded. I come from Italy, and only in Italy where the market is very tiny, you saw it, although the population is much bigger than Norway. I think we're not far from where you score. We have like 82 platforms, and that's really unnecessary. So I think the market still has to enter a phase where they have, that it has to consolidate. So we will have many business going out, and a few will remain.
Okay, maybe I also promised him an answer earlier and I didn't answer. So I just jump quickly and say the platforms differentiate themselves along two lines. One is the quality of the service or the richness of the service versus the price. And the other thing is their focus. Are they industry focused, or are they grab it all type of platforms? All in all, many are going to die. We are at this growth stage where there's more demand than supply, so many platforms can grow, but many of them will die soon. So one last question, if anybody has it. If not, I think you've all deserved a coffee break. We'll take a 15-minute break, and we will be here at 10 past. And then we will speak about how to make successful crowdfunding campaigns. So it's a very interesting session. Looking forward to having you.
Thank you.
Your chocolate?